Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your expensive PlayStation, your Xbox, and even your gaming PC setup didn't suddenly become old because Sony or Microsoft dropped a new console, but because Apple quietly upgraded a tiny box under your TV. That's the rumor right now. Because the Apple TV 2026 leaks are starting to paint a picture that sounds almost unbelievable. Apple isn't just planning a new streaming box. Apple may be building a living room powerhouse that could challenge gaming consoles, become the real brain of the smart home, and push on-device AI into your TV setup in a way we haven't seen before. Welcome back to Touch Trove. Today, we're diving deep into everything being rumored about Apple TV 2026, including the next-gen Apple Silicon upgrade, potential console-level gaming features like ray tracing, smarter HomeKit and Matter support, possible 8K output, and the one detail that could shake the entire market, a rumored $99 price, and just. To be clear, these are leaks, reports, and industry rumors, not official Apple confirmation. But if Apple's direction is even close to what insiders are suggesting, Apple TV 2026 could be Apple's most disruptive living room product in years. For a long time, Apple TV has been the quiet product. It's always been fast, clean, and smooth. The interface is polished, the performance is snappy, and the Apple ecosystem integration is excellent. But it's never been a headline maker the way the iPhone or Mac is. Most people buy Apple TV for one reason: streaming.Netflix, YouTube, Apple TV Plus, Disney Plus, sports, movies. Simple. But that's exactly why the new rumors are so shocking, because they suggest Apple is about to stop treating Apple TV as just streaming and start treating it like a platform for gaming, a platform for the smart home, a platform for AI, and potentially a platform that connects to Apple's future, including spatial computing. So let's talk about the biggest rumored upgrade first, because it's the foundation of everything else: Apple TV 2026 and the A19 chip, the upgrade that changes the category. The biggest Apple TV 2026 rumor is that Apple could bring an A19 class chip into the next Apple TV. And if you understand Apple's strategy, this is the kind of move that changes everything, because an A-series chip isn't a typical TV box processor. This is iPhone-level silicon, built for high performance, high efficiency, and advanced graphics. If Apple TV 2026 truly gets an A19 chip, it means Apple is positioning it for workloads far beyond streaming, and the key word here is graphics. Which brings us to the rumor that instantly makes gamers pay attention: hardware-accelerated ray tracing. On Apple TV 2026, console vibes in a tiny box leaks suggest the Apple TV 2026 could support hardware-accelerated ray tracing. That is a massive statement, if it happens. Ray tracing is one of the features people associate with modern console gaming and high-end PCs. It enables realistic lighting, reflections, and shadows that make games look cinematic. It's expensive to run and usually requires serious GPU horsepower. So if Apple is planning ray tracing class graphics in an Apple TV, it signals one thing: Apple wants to move Apple TV into real gaming territory. And here's where Apple's advantage becomes obvious. Gaming consoles are powerful, but they're also big, loud, and hot. They need heavy cooling. They take up space, they make noise, and in some living rooms, they're honestly an eyesore. Apple Silicon is built differently. Performance per watt is the entire philosophy. So Apple can chase high performance without chasing giant hardware. That means the dream scenario looks like this: a small, silent Apple TV box under your TV. No jet engine fans, no giant console tower, no heat blasting your entertainment center, just fast gaming performance in a device most people wouldn't even notice. And if Apple pairs that performance with the Apple ecosystem, it becomes even more interesting. Apple TV as a console competitor. Apple Arcade is only the beginning right now. Apple Arcade exists and it's fine, but let's be honest. Arcade alone isn't scaring PlayStation or Xbox. The real threat comes if Apple TV 2026 turns the living room into an Apple Silicon gaming endpoint that can run bigger, more advanced games, especially if Apple continues to push 8AA ports, metal optimization, and cross-platform development for Apple hardware. And that's where Apple can do what consoles can't do as easily: Seamless cross-device gaming. Start a game on your iPhone, continue it on your iPad, finish it on your Apple TV on the biggest screen in your house. Same Apple ID, same save file, same progress, no extra accounts, no confusion, no friction. Apple doesn't need to win hardcore gamers overnight. Apple just needs to win the casual and mainstream audience by making gaming feel effortless, because convenience wins markets. But gaming is only half of the story. Because if Apple TV 2026 gets an A19 class chip, the bigger play might be AI and the smart home. Apple TV 2026 as the smart home brain. HomeKit, Matter, Thread, and on-device AI Apple has been building toward a smarter home for years, but the smart home still has a problem. It often feels unreliable, slow, and overly dependent on the cloud. This is where an AI-capable Apple TV could change the experience. If the Apple TV 2026 has more on-device AI power, that could mean faster voice processing, smarter automation logic, and better privacy, because more tasks can be handled locally, not shipped off to servers. Imagine a home where Apple TV is the central nervous system. Your lights, locks, and cameras respond faster. Your routines run more reliably. Your home understands context, time of day, who's in the room, what you usually eat. Your automation doesn't break the moment Wi-Fi gets unstable, and it goes beyond turn on the lights. The rumored direction suggests Apple wants the home to feel proactive. Movie night triggers automatically with your preferred lighting and audio. Your Apple TV recommends content based on who's in the room. Volume normalizes intelligently without you constantly adjusting it. Home security modes change based on patterns without you digging into apps. If Apple builds Apple TV 2026 into the true HomeKit and Matter hub with serious on-device processing, it stops being optional. It becomes the center of your home's intelligence. And once Apple becomes the center, it becomes very hard to leave. Now let's talk about another rumor that sounds simple, but could be a huge long-term play. Apple TV 2026 and 8K output. Future-proofing. The living room. Some insiders claim Apple TV 2026 could support 8K output. Most people don't have an 8K TV. Most content isn't delivered in 8K. So why does this matter? Because Apple builds for the long game. 8K support would signal that Apple wants Apple TV to be a buy it once, keep it for years device, especially for people investing in premium TVs, premium sound, and a future-proof home setup. Even if you never use 8K today, the presence of modern video decoding and higher-end output standards could mean smoother high bitrate streaming, better HDR handling, and overall stronger media performance. But the biggest rumor, the one that could flip the whole market, comes down to price. The $99 Apple TV 2026 rumor. The move that could crush the casual console market. Here's the wild part. There are rumors Apple could price a base Apple TV 2026 model around $99. If that happens, it's not just good pricing. It's a strategic attack. Because think about what a $99 Apple TV becomes if it has a next-gen A19 class chip console-like graphics features, a smarter AI-driven HomeKit, Matter hub potential 8K output, deep ecosystem integration. At that point, people start asking uncomfortable questions. Why spend $500 on a console if your Apple TV already plays high-quality games? Why buy extra smart home hubs when Apple TV does it cleaner? Why deal with messy setups when Apple's box is plug and play? And this is where Apple's business model becomes unfair. Apple doesn't need to profit heavily on Apple TV hardware. Apple profits on services, Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, iCloud, Apple Arcade App Store purchases, subscriptions.